Hey guys, I hope you're all okay. I thought I would come on here afterwards to talk a bit about the game. Honestly, Arsenal do not make it easy for us, do they? We were hanging on a bit at the end. Wolves did get back into it. Yeah, hi Phil, lovely to see you on here. Yeah, it was such a comfortable performance in the first half, and I think the second half just wasn't as good. It was a quite a not a boring half, but we just didn't make many things happen. We didn't have many chances. Obviously, Eddie Nketiah did have a chance. I think it was around the 80th minute, and he hit the post, and I was like, "Oh, that would have been the perfect time to close the game just to win that comfortably." But you do have to give Wolves that credit. They did do good with that other goal. It was a really good goal as well, and I don't think Raya could have really saved that. So you can't really have a go at Raya for that. I think Zinchenko obviously made that mistake in the box. But yeah, I'm just relieved that we actually won because it was a really, tough game at the end. When they scored, I just didn't want us to kind of bottle it because, we are ahead of Man City. We're a point ahead of them, and we've got to keep winning our games. And we know they play Spurs um, tomorrow, which will be an interesting game. But we can relax, go into that game, and not worry because we've won our game, and we don't need to rely on them to lose. So it's a big relief that we've won. Hey Phil, hopefully we'll go ice skating for sure. Lovely to see you on here. All doing good, thank you. I hope you're okay, and it's great to see you on here. Um, but yeah, I thought I would talk a bit about the first half, talk a bit about the second half, and I'll answer some of your questions if some of you come in and join the chat. So obviously the first half, Saka did make that good for us, and it was a really good goal. And a lot of people have doubted Saka, if I'm being honest, because people have said he's had a bit of a slower start to the season. And I feel like he's really grown in confidence now. He did really well in the Champions League. Getting that goal really will be good for his confidence, and obviously, scoring that goal today really helped him. And I think Tomiyasu got the assist as well, which is really amazing for him. Tomiyasu has really fitted in. I feel like he's kept Ben White out of the team, and it's hard to think. We know Tomiyasu went off at the end. I'm hoping it's not an injury because Tomiyasu is a vital part in our team and why we're doing so well. So, um, yeah, I just hope that he's not injured at all, and I hope that it's nothing serious because we know Tomiyasu does struggle with injuries and he does get injured quite a lot, and I just don't want that to happen. If it is an injury, hopefully it's not too long because we have a few other injuries as well, and we don't want more to happen. But yeah, that first goal was really good, and I feel like that first half performance we could have scored a few more. I feel like we dominated it. Wolves didn't have much of the ball. Wolves weren't creating much really, and I think it was a very positive performance from us. I think it would have been good if we could have maybe scored a third because in the second half it was very stressful to watch. Um, but yeah, that big the build-up play in the first half was excellent. I feel like we did a lot of positive things, and it kind of was like that like Wenger ball that we used to watch growing up, and I just feel like it was a perfect performance from us. And yeah, the second goal, I feel like the second goal has to be my favourite. I love Saka and I'm happy with him, but this was a joy to watch. It reminded me of the old Wenger days, like I've just said, and obviously Declan Rice did start that off by passing to Saka, which really was an excellent pass, and Saka did whip across in the box, which was a little bit too deep, but Zinchenko did get it. Um, and him and Jesus did this like little flick together, and I knew when Odegaard got that ball, it was going to go in the back of the net because sometimes you just know, like Odegaard's got this confidence back, and I just knew when he had the ball, he was going to shoot, and really delighted for him. I think it's be great for his confidence, but I feel like for us, we really needed that win, and we really needed Odegaard to get on the score sheet, and I think that was the right goal at that moment because we were doing really well. So really, really happy Odegaard's getting back onto the score sheet, and it was a good finish. And a lot of people did doubt Odegaard because He had been struggling, and now we know it was due to injuries. But it's good to see him back when he's fit now, and you can see he's getting back to his best. And yeah, really, really happy for Odegaard and for the team. Goalkeeper situation, it feels like we are splitting up with a girlfriend, but we need to move out so we can move on because at the moment I have no love for Raya. Um, we really need to get a third before we drop off. Yeah, I think you know what, I do like Raya and I'm really happy with him. I feel like obviously Ramsdale when he was been has been playing, he didn't have the like a lot of confidence, but I think for him getting that clean sheet will be important. Like you said about the FA Cup, I feel like he will be getting a few appearances there too, so it will be really good to see Ramsdale get some more minutes too. But yeah, I do think Raya's definitely grown in confidence. I think he made really important saves today, and I just feel like for me at the moment, he's really happy here, and it's good to see him grow so much and become a better player. And I know in the Champions League he's been doing really well. We won 6-0, we got that clean sheet, and obviously we didn't get that clean sheet today, but I do still respect how much that means to the players and Raya getting that clean sheet. But for me, Raya's doing well and I couldn't be happier for him. But as we know, it's a difficult situation for Ramsdale. But yeah, I think ultimately it's about getting those wins, getting those points up, and trying to go for the league again. I think we're doing a good job at that. I think, like I've said, it's early on, but we definitely have to be positive about that. Yeah, I do too. I think it's great to draw teams like a smaller clubs because it gives them publicity and it's just really exciting and I can't wait to see who we will get. I do love the FA Cup. I do hope we can win it this season, but I think it's about bringing trophies home. But I just think, yeah, it's really exciting time for the club. And it'd be interesting to see who we will get for sure. But as I mentioned before, if Tomiyasu is fit, it's hard to drop him. You can't really drop him in the team, and Ben White obviously hasn't been getting as much minutes. But for me, I think Tomiyasu deserves to play. I think he's earned that right. He obviously was injured for a little while, um, but now that he's much fitter now when he's been able to get more game time. You can't deny him being in the team. He definitely deserves it, and he's a tremendous footballer. Going forward, he does help assist and he helps the team, but defensively, he's just so strong as well. So I think all round as a footballer, he does a good job. So yeah, really hope the injury isn't too serious, and I'm really grateful for him. He's just such a great footballer. Phil said, "I still remember losing at Wrexham a very long time before you were born." Oh, well, I know it's tricky because I know that with the smaller teams, they'll really want to do well in the FA Cup and they'll want to go far. So I do hope that players, their mindset is the right mindset for the FA Cups because we know the league's important, we know the Champions League's important, but I do want us to win the FA Cup. I want us to go far in it because in recent seasons we've kind of got knocked out of it way too soon, in my opinion. And I just feel like we do need to go a lot further than what we have been going. And I don't feel like we put a strong enough team out for that, and I feel like we definitely need to take it more seriously. We obviously know the League Cup, we got knocked out of that. We can get over that, but I feel like if we got knocked out of the FA Cup, it would be a little bit. I think I'd be a bit hurt because, you know what, at the end of the day, we do need to bring home trophies, and that's what we need. So do really hope we can go far in that competition. Hey Harry, how do you feel about Rice's performance? Yeah, I do think Rice had a good game. Obviously, today he did have quite a few chances, and I know how much he wants to score. So I was quite devastated for him that he couldn't get that chance. And I know the team want him to score too, so I was like really rooting for Rice. But definitely think a goal of him is coming. I know he always scores the goals at the most important times that we need. At Chelsea, that was a great goal he scored. Man United, so I feel like an important goal for him is coming soon. But yeah, think it was a really good performance from him as always. I feel like he was really solid today. So yeah, I have no complaints about Rice. Definitely one of the best up there. Hi Chris. Hope you're all doing okay. Lovely to see you in the chat. Yeah, really good. I think it'd be a very important win for Arsenal. Before they scored, I would have said it was a professional win, but definitely was a lot trickier than what I thought. Um, I'm not sure if there's any guarantees that Ramsdale will play in the FA Cup or um I think if it's the early stage of the FA Cup, I do feel like um it can happen. But I think if we were in like the FA Cup quarterfinals, semi-finals, I feel like it's a bit more serious, so probably Raya will play. But I think because we're in the earlier round, Ramsdale probably get these opportunities, because we do need to rest Raya now that he's our first choice. So we do need him not to get injured. But um, Arsenal just need to cut out letting teams back in the game. Yeah, I think you know what, I'm just happy that we didn't, let them win. I know in recent years we really would have done that, but we're really staying strong as a team. But yeah, I feel like that goal was quite a silly mistake from us. I know Zinchenko at the back, passed the ball. He literally assisted him. So I feel like we were getting a bit tired in the second half. We gave a lot of energy in the first half and we started to look a little bit sloppy. So um yeah, I definitely feel like that's something we need to work on for sure. Euro 2024 draw starts shortly on BBC Two. Oh, really, does it? That sounds really good. I don't know what time it starts, but I'll probably stay on here for 20 minutes. I'll probably stay on here for half an hour altogether to chat a bit about the game. But you guys have to let me know what happens with that, and I'm sure I'll see it online after. Um, but yeah, I thought I would talk about the second half because things got a bit more interesting, didn't they? I, I I thought we could have done better in the second half. Obviously, really happy with the win. That's the most important thing. But I think for me, Wolves looked a bit better than us. I think we just looked very fatigued, very tired, and we just wanted the game to be done, really. Wolves obviously did have a chance, I think, in about the 50th minute. And, you have to give Raya credit. I think the saves he made were saves I'd expect him to make. But I think, you've got to give him credit for doing his job really good. And he really saved us. I know that, I think in the first half, just before half time, he made a stop for them not to score, and it could have been 2-1 then. So, he did really well to prevent them from happening. So yeah, I think Raya had a really good performance today. I think the goal they scored, I don't think he can really save that. If I'm being honest, I do think it's just a really good shot from them, which you do have to give them credit for. As I mentioned before, the Tomiyasu injury is a concern. I do hope it's not something serious like a hamstring or something that Partey's suffering with, because if it is, he'll be out for a little while. And obviously, Ben White does an amazing job, and you can't deny that. But um, Tomiyasu, when he plays, he's just so good. I just love Tomiyasu. I love them both, but I think the injuries are starting to come now, which is a concern. And I hope it's not something we need to worry about at all. Um, and Saka did a really good shot in the second half, and I was really impressed with that. Um, and it was so like he was just so close to scoring, and I really wanted him to score. So yeah, that was unfortunate. But I think apart from that, we didn't really have a lot of clear cut chances in the second half. We just weren't the same in the second half. I think we were a lot flatter. The first half performance and the second half were like two different teams. I know we do have a game in a few days against Luton Town, and we do have to kind of manage players' minutes. So I'm sure Arteta did have that in mind, but I suppose it can be a bit of a concern um, for us. But we need to manage these injuries and manage, making sure players don't get injured. But I know that that game will probably be another important game, and we're away at Luton, and it'll be an interesting place to go. So we've got to win that. We've got to keep on top of things. Yeah, obviously Ben White is a good luxury we do have. But we know that not that Ben White would get injured, but I feel like we've got to manage these injuries. And I know Ben White wants to play. I'm sure he does, and he deserves to play. So I just really hope for his sake that Tomiyasu's injury isn't serious. And like I've said, we do have a few other, games come up. Like we've got to bounce the Champions League, the FA Cup games, and all of them. So, yeah, fingers crossed Tomiyasu's injury isn't too serious. But if it is, just hopefully it won't be too long because he's such a good asset. And I know that he gets injured so much in this team, which is a little bit frustrating because I do feel bad for him because he's such a great player. Bayern Munich were interested in him, and it shows you that clubs as big as that like really value him, which shows what a good player he is. Um, but as I did mention, Zinchenko did make that mistake, and I feel like he had a really good game. I think that assist he made was really incredible, and he's a big part to play in how good we are going forward. But I feel like in these moments, like if we're in the Champions League and it's 1-1 and he makes that mistake, it's like these short moments can really affect the game. So I think we got lucky. It wasn't too serious, but I know that when we're trying to win the league, we can't really make these errors. But luckily for us, it wasn't too serious. But yeah, I think you can let him get away with that really because mistakes do happen, and ultimately we have won. Um, yeah, we do have a lot of injuries this season, don't we? And know. I was actually thinking about Smith Rowe when the game was on because I do miss him, and I just think Saka's doing so well, and I just want the same for Smith Rowe. Um, so yeah, there's that. Partey, Timber was at the game watching, and I just can't wait for him to be back. Really, really, miss him, miss his presence, and I know when we played, he was such a good player in the Community Shield. So yeah, I just can't wait for him to be back, to be honest. Um, but yeah, I just hope our injuries we can keep managing. But yeah, I think the win is so important um, for us. But I think, yeah, make mistakes happen, of course, and you know, yeah, I think Arteta will be giving it. Um, For sure, because I feel like, I think for me, we can't make mistakes in the big moments, but for me, we've gotten through it. We've defended really well, um, and I have no complaints of that, to be honest. But yeah, I think we've won. I think we'll take this win. It's the most important one. Like I said, when we go into the Man City game, tomorrow against Spurs, we can relax knowing that they can't overtake us. It's a great feeling that none of that can happen. And as we know, yeah, yeah, it's really good to see Timber back, isn't it? Getting to the games and things, and I think he will be back around March time, I think, or a bit sooner, hopefully. I know a lot of other players will be back around then. Like I know Partey should be back. But I think we've just got to, stay positive with these injuries and hope it doesn't get too serious for us. Um, but yeah, I think it's just positive to take Timber being back, and I did want to touch on Nketiah because I feel like when he came on, he did a few good moves, and I was feeling quite positive about that. And he did a really good pass going forwards, and it was like 1v1 um, with the goalkeeper, and I just thought like he hit the post, and I'm just thinking he's got to score that goal literally, because that would have really made the game a lot comfortable for us. And we know goal difference will be important at the end of the season, but for me, I just feel like he can't be missing those type of goals, and the fact that he hit the post was like, it was so unlucky of him. And I just really wanted him to score in that game. I felt really bad for him that he obviously didn't get that goal, that he needed. But I think, looking back, if Wolves had scored, you could have said looking back, you would have really wanted Eddie to score that chance. But yeah, Wolves definitely did a lot better in the second half. I think us being a lot flatter would probably be due to the fact that we're probably exhausted. We had a Champions League game the other night. We're playing Luton in a few days. Like it's we do put a lot of we have been putting a lot of like a strong team out, but we do need someone like Eddie to be more clinical because um if we played a different team, it would have been a lot harder for us. And I know Jesus missed a few chances too, which he can get away with because he did have a good performance. And um, obviously, I don't talk. Kai Havertz obviously came on for a little bit. I can't really say a lot about his performance because he didn't really do a lot for me to kind of comment on it. But I know he did try to win us the ball going forwards and make a few things happen. But definitely would play him in the Luton game because um, I think if we don't to risk any injuries, and if you'll have like fresh legs, he'll be a lot more up for it. So I think there's always that to play him. But yeah, it's really good to see he's starting to score more. He's starting to be worth the price that we paid for him because we obviously know he has paid a lot of money. Um, but yeah, I think it's going to be good. I think you're looking at the squad. I think we do have a few more players to bring on now, which is exactly what we need. So that's a really positive thing to take. Phil said, Eddie not up the same grade as our amazing forward players. He should definitely have scored. Yeah, I think it's one of those chances where you can't really miss. Like he was so close to the goal. Like yeah, it's a bit disappointing. He obviously didn't score that chance, but um, I think because we've been seeing like Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, Jesus, like they've been really doing really well. They've been scoring a lot, and Eddie's obviously not been getting a lot of game time, and they've been starting over him. And they've been more consistent than Eddie. They did really well the other night in the Champions League game. We had 6 different goal scorers. Um, so yeah, obviously, that's been a real positive thing. But I think Eddie's not really had much game time either, and I think I think I agree with you, Phil. I think Eddie's probably not on the same level as them, but I think, like you said, he does have to kind of score those chances. But yeah, I just think this win will be crucial for us in the league. I think I've said from the start, I do think we can do it. Um, it is tough because Man City are a great team. Obviously, they're doing really well in the Champions League this season. I don't think they have been as good. Obviously, they are only like a few. Like if they win tomorrow, they'll only be a point behind us. But we have made a few mistakes. We've not had the fast start we had last season, but we do have a new team, and we are kind of getting used to this, which I think is only a good thing. And I think Havertz is getting on the team really well. He's really helping us, do a lot better. So I feel like for me, this is only a good thing with our new kind of style of play. Obviously, we know Xhaka's not here anymore, and in that midfield, we've got Declan Rice. But I do feel like I think Declan Rice has really stepped up and made Arsenal such a better team this season, and I think it's just really unfortunate for him not to get on the score sheet today because I know he really wanted that, and I know that meant a lot to him. So but yeah, I think this is going to be a real positive result going forward. And um, hey Phil, don't worry. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. It's been lovely to see you on here today, and thanks for always like popping in and saying hi. And hopefully the draw will be going okay. It'll be really interesting. It doesn't surprise me. They do build up, don't they? They do make it into like a big thing. It doesn't surprise me, to be honest. But yeah, I think I'll stay on here for a little bit longer. I'll probably stay on for about 5 more minutes. Um, so if any of you guys do want to ask me anything about the game, or if you have any questions, I'll happily answer that too. But yeah, I think the game is just being, the second half is a lot different. I wish we did have the same kind of energy in the first half, but I know that might be a little bit unrealistic in a way because we do play again I think it's on Tuesday, so we don't have a lot of break in between, so the players will definitely need to have a rest. Hi Chris, hope you're okay. Thoughts on Kai Havertz so far? Well, obviously, he has cost 65 million, and I think up until a few games ago, I think it has been quite hard to kind of say he has been worth 65 million, but I feel like he's really growing in confidence now. He's starting to get on the score sheet, and you can see the way he plays even today. he looks a lot more with it. He looks a lot hungrier. He looks like he really wants to make things happen, and he seems like he's in a really good place mentally, and he seems really, happy to be here at Arsenal, which is obviously what we want to see. Um, and I feel like his goals that he scores are really impressive. And I think the Champions League goal, I feel like for him to score two in a row is really important for him. I think the Germany goal he scored has definitely helped him with his confidence. And I know that Arteta does have a lot of belief in him. And what I really liked is I don't remember which game it was the other day, but obviously he scored the winner and Brentford it was. And, to see Arteta kind of get him to go over to the fans, to celebrate with the fans, it just shows you that Arteta has always believed in him, and he kind of wants us to believe in him more. He wants us to get behind us more and have that moment with Havertz to celebrate with him, and feel like he really needed that moment for us to celebrate with him, for us to have that moment because, it hasn't been easy for him. He's been at Chelsea where he's really struggled to score. He's been really low in confidence, I presume, and he's came here. He's probably still got a bit of that low confidence, and Arteta has shown he can get the best out of players, and he has done that. And I feel like for me, Arteta's hard work is paying off, and Kai Havertz has shown his energy on the pitch, and that's kind of coming off as well in his goals. And feel like I think he just needs to keep up his good work, keep on scoring goals. But I do understand the criticism of him at times because he has cost us a lot of money, and you could think, could we have used that in a different area? Could we have got more of an experienced player? But I think Kai Havertz, it looks like it's a good move so far because he's starting to score more goals. And I don't expect him to score every game. I don't expect him to be perfect every game. But for me, you will take this for him for what he's doing so far. I just think he's got to keep scoring lots of goals this season to help us in other not just in the Premier League. I feel like in other competitions he's got to keep his hard work up. I don't like Havertz being the scapegoat. Yeah, I feel like it does happen. I know when Xhaka was here, he would get that as well. Um, and it feels like if Havertz plays and he's not done the best, like other players have done worse than him, but still Havertz still gets that a lot of criticism from fans, and it's obviously not nice to see because if other players are having a worse game, Havertz feels like the easy target, the easy one to kind of go at, which I don't think is completely fair. Um, but yeah, I feel like will be interesting to see if he does play against Luton. I would play him. He's got fresh legs. He's got a lot more energy. Because I know that we are getting a bit tired. Now that we are playing, we played. I think I can't remember the Champions League game, but it was the other day, and I was playing on Tuesday again, and the players did look a lot more tired in the second half. So, yeah, really like how Havertz is doing at the moment, but we do obviously play Luton, and I think that's got to be our next focus. And then obviously we have done really well in the Champions League. I'm really impressed with our performances, with our wins, and it's just great to see the team back in that competition because it has been like such a long time. I feel like it's been like a decade, but it's only been a few years since we've been back. But really happy to be in that competition, and I really love to see our style of play, just how well we're doing. And it was crazy to think that we lost. I think it was 2-0 to Lens the other week, and then we just beat them 6-0 in our place. It was just great to see that performance from the team. It was a very convincing win, and I feel like with our performances, we won't always win beautifully. We will have to win playing ugly for me, and that's just what we want to see. In George Graham's Arsenal team, they didn't always play the most attractive football, but they won and they got points on the board, and I think that's another important thing to do. Obviously, winning 6-0 is beautiful football, and we also get those 3 points, but ultimately, we do have to learn how to play ugly too, and we are doing that this season, which I'm really impressed with so far. They are only done part one team so far. They are quite slow at it. They do take ages. That's why I just literally leave it until because I'll leave the stream in a few minutes. So by the time I've left, they'll probably announce it then. But they do take their time on doing this. It's quite funny, but I'm really excited to see who we will have. But yeah, I know that we can beat them, but it'll be good. I love the FA Cup. Who doesn't love the FA Cup? It's a great trophy. If you don't play well but still win, sign of Champions League. Liverpool did it a lot in the 1920 season. Yeah, I agree. I feel like you've got to learn how to win both ways. You've got to learn how to play beautiful football and win games, but you've got to also learn that every game of football won't be beautiful. We won't be playing that Wenger type of one-touch football, but you've just got to get that win and score a goal, like Havertz did against Brentford, which I think is the most important thing. And defensively, we can defend that. So I'm with you. I think if we won the league and we won playing ugly football, I would take that any day. A winning the league would be an incredible achievement for us. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna leave the stream here now. It's been so lovely to chat with you guys. Really happy Arsenal got that win, of course. And I do love doing these reactions after the game. Yeah, I think this season we're definitely better defensively. We have seen that we're a lot stronger than ever. Um, but yeah, I really do appreciate you all tuning in to check the stream out. To those that might be new, please don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. And yeah, I hope you all have an amazing weekend, whatever you guys are doing, and I will see you all very soon.